distinguished panelists and participants. Bharati Vidyapeeth's Institute of Computer Applications and Management BVI CAM, in association with Computational Intelligence Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Computer Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Technology and Engineering Management Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, System, Man and Cybernetics Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Communication Society of IEEE Delhi section, Consultants Network Affinity Group of IEEE Delhi section, Life Member Affinity Group of IEEE Delhi section, Inter-Society Relations Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Industry Relations and Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Region 10 of IEEE, with the associations Computer Society of India, Institute of Information Technology Professionals IITP, ISTE Delhi section and IETE Delhi Center as technical collaborator welcomes you all to the webinar on the topic Digital Key, a big revolution for secure transportation. It is a moment of pride and honor to announce that we, with united hands, mark special contribution for the monumental occasion Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, an initiative to celebrate 75 years of glorious independence by organizing the thought-provoking sessions for a better future. This webinar is an initiative for celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Digital technology has ushered in a revolution in how we think about and run public transport, and today that revolution shows no sign of slowing down. Digital innovations are now improving people's lives and opening opportunities for public, including increased efficiency, lowering cost, and easier accessibility. In this smart IoT enabled era where connected vehicles are fast becoming the order of the day, plain old car keys are set for a major revamp. This webinar aims to discuss various aspects of fascinating transformations in digital world through digital key. I would first take this opportunity to welcome amongst us our distinguished panelists for the day. We are privileged to have amongst us a galaxy of experts. Also, dear participants, we are pleased to inform that today, at the same time, the meeting of the Executive Committee of IEEE Delhi section is going on in the Bharati Vidyapeeth campus. Fortunately, all the esteemed members of the Executive Committee of IEEE Delhi section are also present. Taking advantage of this opportunity, I would like to invite dignitaries to enlighten us. First of all, I would like to invite Professor Subrato Mukhopadhyay Sir, Chairperson, Consultants Network Affinity Group and former Chairperson IEEE Delhi section. I would like to invite Sir to please commence this session with his welcome address. Please, Sir.
I am still traveling, so maybe visible. Am I audible also?
Sir, you
Yeah,
are
yeah, you are
audible.
audible, Subrata sir.
Okay, thank you, Lord. Professor Huda is probably crossed Noida through DND entering. I'm, of course, already in Paschim Bihar. Uh, Welcome, good evening to all our attendees, including Delhi Section Execom. This is our 104th meeting, actually, of this webinar series. This is coming after a lot of effort by Professor Hoda in particular and his team, spanning more than 2.5 years almost, because June 2020 we started this thing. Anyway, topic for the day, as you have heard already, the digital key, a big revolution for secure transportation. Two issues are there. Transportation, whole gamut is changing from electromechanical, electrical, electronic to now digital, and along with the security feature also, we do not know where it will ultimately go, but definitely it is good for the mankind, and a lot of protections are there, and maybe even a biometric system also will be applicable for taking care of this one. So we have gone first stage itself in the revolution. We have seen a lot of changes taking place from electrical, from mechanical to electronic and all these things. I still remember that fuel injection pump and control, how it changed. Now we have gone further ahead for taking care of these things with proper security, also amalgamate with the transportation. In this context, I was just thinking that not that we have not changed from the fuel-based system to electrical or other, like our diesel electromotives were there so far as railway is concerned, and full electric trains like our EMU coaches were there running across the cities for transportation, metros and all these things. But this will be one step further ahead, and we'll be definitely waiting to hear Mr. Sandeep Khanna, who is an expert from Harman Group, to tell us of that. Over to Ayushi.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us time and enlightening us. I would now like to invite Professor A.Q. Ansari, Executive Vice Chair, IEEE Delhi Section. I request to please enlighten the House.
Okay, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you are.
Oh, very good. It's a pleasure, being invited. We came here for a different purpose, but yet you have invited for this talk and to give some view about the regular series of webinars that this Bharati Vidyapeeth has been holding. So it's a great pleasure to be present here, and I welcome all the participants to this webinar. I have been a participant to these webinars for many of them. Some of them were really very good of my interest too, and others were, of course, and the number of participants in these webinars have been, quite motivating, sometimes going up to the level of 1,000 participants together in each of these webinars. So I not only welcome the participants, but I also urge them to please be very serious about the lectures, because these lectures are delivered by very senior people who are experienced in their own fields. They have done researches, they have delivered lectures at various places in the world, and therefore we need to honor them. And the greatest honor is to admit and to learn and to practice whatever they say in their respective areas. Without taking much of the time, I would like to congratulate the Bharati Vidyapeeth for holding such beautiful webinars and inviting so many guests and speakers on a regular basis. Their contribution to the IEEE also has been wonderful. Professor Huda, who is the director of this institute, has been contributing to the IEEE as well. And these webinars have been happening in the collaboration with the IEEE as well. Inter-society relations external, the IETE, the Computer Society of India, ISTE, and IEEE, and many other societies have been holding these webinars together. So it's a very welcome move, and I wish that these webinars continue to happen and we keep taking benefits from them. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for enlightening us. I would now like to invite, it gives me pleasure and privilege to invite Professor Rachna Garg, ma'am, Chairperson, IEEE Delhi Section, to please say a few words. Please, ma'am.
Thank you for inviting me to for the inaugural function of this webinar. And I am happy to see that Professor Huda is organizing this webinar every Saturday. Every Saturday I am getting a mail that you are a panelist for this webinar. And it is really heartening to see that these webinars, they are organized in such a professional manner. They start on time, they end on time, and such good speakers are invited for delivering these talks. And this is evident from the number of participants who are attending this program also. Every time I found that number of participants, it is quite high. Normally, we don't see such high number of participants in webinars, but these webinars are quite a success. The reason for this may be because of the organizational skill of Dr. Huda and the good quality of resource person that he always arrange for delivering these webinars. Now, since I have been invited here in the capacity of chair Delhi section, let me give you a brief about Delhi section also. IEEE Delhi section is one of the 13 sections of India, which comes under India Council, and it is in Region 10, that is Asia Pacific region of IEEE. The section has two subsections, one at Rajasthan and another at Chandigarh. And we have about 23 society chapters and joint chapters, such as Power and Energy Society chapter, then Power Electronics chapter, Computer Society chapter, Computational Intelligence Society, and so on, so forth. Along with that, we have 4 affinity groups also, like Women in Engineering, Young Professionals, Consultant Networks, and Life Members Affinity Group. And we have about 100 plus student branches and student branch chapters in Delhi section. So all in all, Delhi section is quite a vibrant section with about a membership of around 6,000 members. And this year we had conducted about 900 activities. So you can see around 3 activity per day we are conducting. So, and these webinars, they are a part of activities which are organized by Delhi section. So once again, I welcome all the participants to this webinar and thank Dr. Hoda for continuously doing this webinar series. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us. It gives me pleasure to invite Mr. Ajay Goyal, sir, Managing Director, Nagaro, and Chairperson, Industry Relations Standing Committee of the IEEE Delhi section, to please say a few words. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ayushi. And first of all, big congratulations to Professor Huda for organizing more than 100 such sessions. So I think we all must applaud the continuity and the diligence way the sessions have been organized. And again, Professor Huda has an excellent team. I know Dr. Ayushi, Dr. Ritika, the way they have organized it with such a big consistency and so professionally managed. And also thanks to all the participants. So these webinars have pretty huge number of participants who attend these. I would say it's an excellent platform for such wonderful sessions. And I think no tech topic has been left behind. While AI, big data, IoT, they all are passe. I mean, we've seen various forms of it. We've also covered something like 6G, quantum computing, and other research topics, a lot of research topics. So overall, excellent platform. The way Professor Huda has consistently organized it, getting speakers from maybe around the world, around within India, around a variety of themes and topics. So this is fabulous. So once again, congratulations, and keep on learning because this platform provides this medium for learning, and I'm sure a lot of you look forward to learning. So all the best and keep on doing it. Look forward to the double century. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir, for always being the guiding force and motivating us. I would now like to request Professor M.N. Huda, sir, Director, Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management, BVI CAM, and Vice Chairperson, IEEE Delhi section, to address the participants with his inspiring words. Please, sir.
Am I audible, Ayushi?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. Good evening, one and all. My apologies for switching off the video because I am traveling in car and the signal is a little lower. I was out of a station trying to come back to Delhi well in time, but you know, uncertainty every time happens and I'm almost 45 minutes behind my schedule. At the outset, let me take this opportunity to welcome today my valued speaker for today's session, who despite his all engagements busy schedule has readily agreed to deliver this talk, who is none other than Mr. Sandeep Khanna, the Principal Product Architect, Automotive Services Business Unit, Harman International. On a topic like digital key, a big revolution for secure transportation, I take this opportunity to pay my individual gratitude and the gratitude on behalf of the entire organizing team of this IEEE BVI Camp webinar series. So thank you so much, Mr. Sandeep, for having agreed and being with all of us. Today's 104 edition of this webinar series, which was started long back during June 2020 in the backdrop of the COVID-19, when entire world was going into almost a depression stage. So under discussion with IEEE Execom, we realized that there is a need to start some learning activity, some engaging activity, so that the people from across the country could get connected and could mitigate with the problems or with the obvious problems and the risk related to the COVID-19, and we could successfully do it. And this is 104th edition of this webinar. I said this is very special day. Why? Because the first ever occasion out of this 104 webinar, when the entire leadership of the section is meeting today for our quarterly section Execom meeting, and you have heard many of them prior to me. So I also take this opportunity to pay my special gratitude to all my friends, right from the chairperson of the section Execom to former chairpersons and who else, who not, everyone, for having kept the confidence in us, having supported in all respect, for continuing this series in most sustainable manner right from June 2020. This webinar series is now considered as the most sustainable series in with continuity is being organized. That's the kind of the beauty of this particular webinar series. Dear friends, that today's also my participants, I can't forget my participants, because maintaining a series from organization point of view is not easy unless you have participation. And this is such webinar series which almost including our webex room as well as the live streaming on YouTube was attended by the all parts of the country and even from abroad in any number between 250 to almost 1500. That basically the length and breadth of the penetration and pervasiveness of the this particular webinar series. So I take this opportunity to thank my all the participants from various parts of the country for having attended and attending this webinar series in continuity. Now I always say that this webinar is in me and I'm in this webinar, and that's how I always say that हजारों हजारों महफिलें हैं, लाखों मीटिंग और मेले हैं. किसी शायर ने कहा है, उसको थोड़ा सा मैं ट्विस्ट करके कह रहा हूं कि हजारों महफिलें हैं, लाखों मीटिंग और मेले हैं, फिर भी हम फिर भी हम फिर भी अगर तुम मेरे साथ न हो तो हम बिल्कुल अकेले हैं. तो हमें आप सबका, सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स का इंतजार रहता है, जैसे कि पार्टिसिपेंट्स को हर सैटरडे का इंतजार रहता है. और जब कभी मैं वेबिनार का इनविटेशन भेजने में डिले हो जाता, बहुत सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स, many in numbers, keep on writing on my personal WhatsApp, sir today's link, sir today's link, sir today's login credential. That is the kind of the weight which participants are doing, and that keeps on encouraging all of us for organizing this. And of course, I cannot do anything unless my team, you see, teachers right from their home, teachers from their offices, they have fixed their calendar for Saturday. And if in a continuity you have to fix a calendar for such webinar, every one of you can imagine how much sacrifice at their personal level and family level the teachers and the team members who are part of the. So all the members as well. Dear friends, this topic, the digital key, close to around 15 years ago, I was talking in a conference, and then the topic was, and then I was talking that why can't it be possible that one device should become the enabling tool for everything? Just name an operation, name a kind of activity, and that one device should be enabling tool. And that probably what we are talking here today, that can we have an as our smartphone, can we have our smartphone as an enabling tool for the purpose of operating our car? Can we have our smartphone as enabling tool for the purpose of operating our smart house? Can we have a smartphone as enabling tool for operating all our electronic appliances, that basically is a challenge. And out of this discussion, the discussion which we are going to have today, that how digital key can be embedded within our mobile smartphone, and that probably that smartphone could be sufficient for everything related to the operation of the car, and controlling, not only the controlling the operations, rather also enforcing the restrictions and the security for the purpose of the operations of the car. That basically, that is where we are. So the technology is penetrating in every one of us, and we are also living in the technology. That probably this topic, and particularly the internet of things, industrial internet of things, and in general the industrial revolution 4.0, and followed by the probable and expected 5.0, is going to change the face in which we all are living. And that's how I keep saying that, oh technology ke musafir, तुम्हें अभी बहुत दूर जाना है. ओ टेक्नोलॉजी के मुसाफिर, तुम्हें अभी बहुत दूर जाना है. पत्थरों पे गुलाब खिलाना है और आंधियों में चिराग जलाना है. एंड बिलीव मी, वो दिन आने वाला है जिस दिन पत्थरों पे गुलाब खिलेगा. अभी तो बिना सॉइल, बिना मिट्टी और बिना पानी के एग्रीकल्चर की बात हो रही है. ये बात भी करीब होगी कि पत्थरों पे गुलाब खिलेगा और आंधियों में चिराग जलेगा. इसी बैकग्राउंड नोट के साथ आई वुड लाइक टू कंक्लूड and pay once again my thanks to every one of you, that you are participating in this webinar, and that's a part of encouragement to all of us. So thank you so much. इस नोट के साथ कि वो अमिताभ बच्चन के करोड़पति में कहते हैं ना, अगले अगले वीक फिर से हम नए एपिसोड में मिलेंगे, तो उनके लिए मैंने 2 पंक्तियां लिखी हैं कि अगले सैटरडे फूलों की तरह, हर सैटरडे हम मिलते हैं, तो फूलों की तरह फिर खिलेंगे हम, फूलों की तरह फिर खिलेंगे हम, और अगले सैटरडे एक नए टॉपिक के साथ इसी वक्त फिर मिलेंगे हम. थैंक यू सो मच. कीप लर्निंग despite disruptions all around you. You are aware that almost 80% plus China is under lockdown. The winter is coming. We should apply all protection so that the COVID should not come back to the India, and we could enjoy the life the way we are enjoying. So thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Keep registering for our webinars. There are many, I think 3 webinars which are already notified for next 3 weeks, and keep registering for that. Keep attending that. That's the source of motivation and encouragement for all of us. Wish you all the best. God bless you all. Over to you, Ayushi.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for always motivating us. I would now like to welcome amongst us our expert speaker for today, Mr. Sandeep Khanna, sir, with an e-bouquet. We welcome you, sir. Sandeep Khanna, sir, working as a principal product architect in Automotive Services Business Unit at Herman International, having 18 plus years of experience in Java, microservices, and IoT. Over the years, he have worked with different telecom, banking, and automotive clients in HCL, Coforge, erstwhile NIIT Technologies Limited, and IBM. I would like to welcome you once again, sir, and request you to please enlighten the house. Please, sir.
Thank you so much, Ms. Arushi. Am I audible, first of all?
Yes, sir, you are. You are,
Okay,
sir.
great. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me here. Thank you, especially Professor M.N. Hoda, for such a warm welcome. And I've come across you few months back, and especially today, like you're saying, that 104th edition of this web series. I mean, it's commendable. Hats off to you, sir. That you have gone ahead with this initiative, and you and your team are definitely needs to be congratulated on this. And thanks very much for inviting me. And I really feel that I am in August company today with such esteemed guests. So again, my best wishes to everyone. So, Ms. Ayushi, I'll stop my video and I'll share my screen then. I have just made a small PPT. 1 second, let me share it. Okay, so
It is visible,
is it
sir.
visible and I'm audible as well, right?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Okay, great. So yeah, as you would have heard, everyone, my name is Sandeep Khanna, and I'm working as a principal product architect in Harman. And today I would like to, talk about an interesting solution, which is known as phone as a key or digital key. and which is also being termed as the next big thing in connected car world, and a big revolution for the secure transportation, as our title says. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. I have kept this PPT at a very high level so that we can cover the maximum breadth of this complex topic. And of course, we can go through the details of the specific sections as we need and as we prefer. And I would definitely like it to be interactive session. So I know that we have many technical persons around. So I would really love to hear back from you as well, and we can have all the question answers as well. So let's start. Basically, so as we say, right, humans are social beings, and we cannot live in isolation. So this principle, I will say, that aptly applies to the digitally connected world that we are living in today, as Professor Hoda was also mentioning. And it's really no wonder why internet was one of the biggest revolutions of our times, and simply because it connected millions of devices, computers, and platforms for faster and easier access and interactions and everything. And now we are moving ahead, and even the smallest of devices are also becoming connected and smart and intelligent, right? So now, what are these smart and connected devices? Let's start from here, right? So the thing is that what is connected devices? What are connected devices? So connected devices are basically any product, any small device which is, let's say, having connectivity to what? To internet, so that we can reap the benefits of the internet that we all know about. And they also have some type of intelligence inbuilt, so that they can they can see around them, I mean the places they are in, and they can have some complex hardware architecture, also some microprocessors, some data storage, embedded OS, things like that, so that they can see who they are and they can transmit the data. So lot many use cases are there. So like we say, okay, I think I've got some message to speak in Hindi as well. Okay, sure. I'll do that. I'll try to do that. So हाँ, जैसे मैं कह रहा था कि स्मार्ट डिवाइसेस जिसे कहते हैं, तो स्मार्ट और कनेक्टेड डिवाइसेस वही हुआ कि जो डिवाइसेस अपने आसपास का इंफॉर्मेशन गैदर करें और उसके बाद उसको लेट्स से दूसरी डिवाइसेस पे या दूसरे प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे, जैसे कि इंटरनेट है, वहाँ पे वो उसको भेज भी सकें, जिससे कि एक बार आप उन डिवाइसेस से डेटा को क्लाउड में ले गए, उसके बाद में द यूज केसेस आर एंडलेस, राइट, एंड वी ऑल नो अबाउट इट। तो यहाँ पे मैंने वही बताने की कोशिश की है कि उन्हीं को ही स्मार्ट कनेक्टेड डिवाइसेस एक तरीके से कहा जाता है। और हमारे पास में बहुत सारे एग्जांपल्स हैं। अभी वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्मार्ट सिटीज, स्मार्ट होम्स, लाइक प्रोफेसर होडा वाज आल्सो सेइंग, विद थर्मोस्टेट्स, लॉक्स, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इक्विपमेंट्स। आजकल जो इंडस्ट्री 4.0 की बात होती है, तो उनका इन एसेंस मतलब यही है, बेसिक प्रिंसिपल जिस पे ये सब चीज़ें चल रही हैं इज आईओटी, राइट, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स। मतलब क्या कि क्लाउड एंड एज सर्विसेज जिसे हम कहते हैं, इनफैक्ट वही हमारा एसबीयू भी है हारमन में, जिसपे हम सब काम कर रहे हैं। बेसिकली एज डिवाइसेस विच आर एट द क्लाइंट साइड, राइट, एंड द क्लाउड डिवाइसेस विच इज एट द प्लेटफॉर्म साइड, और जहाँ पे हमारे पास में मैसिव कंप्यूटेशन पावर है, और किसी भी तरीके का डेटा जो उसको पहुंचाया जाता है, दैट कैन बी प्रोसेस्ड इन नंबर ऑफ वेज एंड नंबर ऑफ यूज केसेस. In fact, sensors and IoT devices are expected to reach 27 billion by the end of 2025. So we see, what a huge opportunity we have if we are working on in this domain. And, again, where we are heading towards. So it's quite clear from this. So we at Harman are working on this connected car solutions, connected vehicle solutions since some time now. And we work for many vehicle manufacturers and telecom clients. And one of the latest feature that we'll be talking about today is again a smart and connected feature, which is known as phone as a key, or we can say it as digital key. Okay, so currently the most popular technology that we currently or that the vehicle owners use to lock, unlock, and ignition and to start their cars is known as passive entry and passive start, right? तो टिपिकली एक फॉब होता है, एक फॉब की जिसे हम कहते हैं, ज़्यादातर सब गाड़ियों में होता है आजकल, और दैट हैज सम रेडियो फ्रीक्वेंसी सिग्नल्स टू एक्सचेंज यूनिक कार की एक्सेसेस कोड, राइट, जो एक उस फॉब से व्हीकल तक जाता है, और उस व्हीकल के अंदर एक एक्सचेंज होता है। जब हम गाड़ी को ऑन करते हैं तो वो ऑन होती कैसे है, राइट? तो एक इस पे कुछ एक कोड्स हैं जिसे हम इमोबिलाइजर टोकन्स भी कहा जाता है व्हीकल की टर्मिनोलॉजी में, और वो एक्सचेंज होते हैं बिटवीन योर हार्डवेयर डिवाइस एंड योर कार, एंड कार विल अंडरस्टैंड, ओके, ये जो मेरी गाड़ी है या जो गाड़ी है उसका जो एक्चुअल फॉब है वो यही है। ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं किसी और फॉब से भी उस गाड़ी को खोल सकता हूँ। So when these code match and these expected values, and also that key is also needs to be in a close vicinity of the car allows the access to that driver, right? That's what it is. और again हमने अब इसके अंदर दो बातें कही, एक एक्सचेंज ऑफ कोड्स जैसे मैंने अभी बताया, और दूसरी चीज विसिनिटी ऑफ द कार, राइट? तो हम ऑब्वियसली 1 किलोमीटर दूर से हम नहीं खोल सकेंगे उस कार को बिकॉज ऑफ सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न्स ऑल्सो। तो वो क्यों किया जाता है? और NFC टेक्नोलॉजी जिसे हम कहते हैं नियर फील्ड कम्युनिकेशन, वो एक रोल अपनाती है इन सब इंटरेक्शंस में बिटवीन द हार्डवेयर एंड द व्हीकल। तो this all works fine, right, to a reasonable extent, and we have been using it since some time now. But of course, there are some downsides to this approach as well. क्या downsides हैं? Again, fob is another physical device जो हमें carry करना पड़ता है, and specifically for this purpose, इसके अलावा गाड़ी को खोलने, बंद करने और start करने के अलावा इसका कोई और purpose नहीं होता, right? तो again, we need to have another hardware device with us. दूसरा डीलरशिप, राइट? अगर आपकी ये स्मार्ट डिवाइस खराब हो जाती है तो व्हाट डू यू नॉर्मली यू कैनॉट डू एनीथिंग, राइट? आप मतलब बेसिकली गाड़ी में स्टक हैं एक किसी 100 किलोमीटर दूर अपने घर से, आपके पास में एक कोई दूसरा फॉब भी नहीं है। अब आपका फॉब खराब हो गया तो आप नॉर्मली क्या करेंगे? आई थिंक द ओनली ऑप्शन, फीजिबल ऑप्शन इज टू गो टू द डीलरशिप एंड रिपेयर द फॉल्टी वन। नॉर्मली वो लोग उसको रिप्लेस करके देखते हैं, करेक्ट? ऑल्सो आपके पास में मल्टीपल फॉब्स होंगे, बट दोज आर not something which we can say that used for parallel working or parallel sharing, right? Those are some things जो आप as a backup use कर सकते हैं in that case. So again, these are some of the downsides of it, and of course, you know, so what is the solution, right? What is the option that we have? तो this, if you look at this slide, right, आप एक imagine करें कि you walk towards your car with only your smartphone in your pocket, which you know we always obviously be carrying nowadays, right? Everybody of us have a smartphone. So let's say when you are 1 meter away from your car, the car unlocks itself on its own, and then you get inside it, you place your smartphone on that NFC capable स्मार्टफोन वायरलेस चार्जिंग पैड, जो कि काफ़ी गाड़ियों में आता भी है ऑलरेडी, एंड यू पुट दैट फोन ओवर देयर एंड यू नो स्विच ऑन योर बटन एंड द कार स्टार्ट्स, राइट? सिमिलरली आपने अपने डेस्टिनेशन पे गए एंड यू लेट्स से यू वॉक you know you get out of your car and you walk, let's say, 5 meters away from your car, and the car locks itself again, correct? So this is one use case. Or another thing is that you want to give your car to your teenage son, right, to drive, but you want to restrict he cannot go over, let's say, 60 kilometers per hour, because you know, right, teenage son, so ठीक है, he can do that. So आपने क्या किया, आपने एक रिस्ट्रिक्शन कर दी गाड़ी के अंदर कि वो ड्राइव तो कर सकते हैं, बट हाँ, एक स्पीड से ज़्यादा आप नहीं जा पाएंगे उस कार को ड्राइव नहीं कर पाएंगे, या फिर you are on a vacation and you want to share let's say a key to your friend or to your family, your spouse, whoever, who can probably either just drive the car, or maybe he can just open and unlock the car, right, to just fetch some belongings from that boot of the car, and that's it. It cannot do anything else. Or you have a wallet parking option, right? You know that you are at a party and you would just be needing a wallet parking to be done. And let's say you create a key and you provide that key to the wallet parking guy, and that key would be operational, let's say, only for a couple of hours, and then it terminates itself, right? So, I mean, these are all, and these are just some of the basic functions that we are capable of nowadays, right? So then it definitely sounds convenient, right? But then how is it possible? So here comes our phone as a key, or digital key as we call it, which is basically a truly smart device for accessing your vehicle. तो कैसे होता है, right? We all know now what it is. But then how does it work? So before going in there, let me tell you that what are ECUs, right? Electronic Control Unit. तो आज भी हमारी गाड़ी में in a typical car that we have here in India also, and of course in abroad as well, it comprises of hundreds of ECUs, which control, let's say, basic functionality also, and advanced functionalities also. इवन जैसे हम आज की डेट में IVI जिसे हम कहते हैं, या फिर HMI इंटरफेस कहते हैं, जो हमारी गाड़ी में ह्यूमन मशीन इंटरफेस होता है, जिससे हम अपना म्यूजिक सिस्टम और नेविगेशन कंट्रोल करते हैं, या फिर emergency braking कंट्रोल करते हैं, या एयर बैग्स कंट्रोल करते हैं. All of these are different ECUs fitted into a car, assembled into a car, right? We have that today as well. तो ये डिजिटल की कैसे होगा? डिजिटल की is also facilitated by one of the similar ECU which is created by a company. और उसके अंदर भी कुछ कैपेबिलिटीज होती हैं, और वो कैपेबिलिटीज के बारे में हम आज बात करेंगे. एक वहाँ पे एक वो क्लाइंट साइड पे हो गया, that gets fitted into your car, and of course this is a smart and a connected device that we talked about few slides back. तो उसके अंदर वो सब कैपेबिलिटी होती हैं, जो वो डेटा भी भेज सकता है, अपने आसपास की सराउंडिंग्स के बारे में भी जान सकता है. तो दैट्स व्हाट that ECU is capable of. Now here I've tried to show that it as at a very high level. I mean, उस phone as a key ECU के अंदर क्या होता है? Of course it contains of near field communication, NFC devices, या फिर NFC protocol जिसकी हम बात करते हैं, Bluetooth, low energy BLE जिसे कहा जाता है, और also ultra wideband. These are all some of the technologies that these ECU is capable of. और ये solution जो है, this is totally designed to work in an offline manner also. मतलब अब आप कहेंगे कि अगर इसकी कनेक्टिविटी क्लाउड से नहीं है, तो ऑफ कोर्स आप कहीं नीचे हैं, या फिर ऐसी जगह पे हैं जहाँ पे कनेक्टिविटी नहीं है, आप हाईवे पे हैं किसी एक गांव में, राइट? तो आप कैसे काम चलेगा उस पर? यू ऑफ कोर्स वुड नॉट हैव दैट कनेक्टिविटी. बट इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. वंस there are only few use cases which requires that connectivity to be in place. Once that connectivity doesn't work, the keys are into your smartphone. After that, it is just a communication between the smartphone and the vehicle, just similar to the fob that we currently use. But only thing is, now this feature will completely remove this fob. और आने वाली कुछ गाड़ियों के अंदर इनफैक्ट वी आर वर्किंग विद few of the OEMs, their new models that they are coming up with, they are replacing that fob completely. It would only be having the digital key solutions. Okay, so एक चीज मैंने यहाँ पे लिखी है, एक और, कनेक्टेड कार कंसोर्शियम, which is basically a body which brings lot many automakers and smart device manufacturers together into a forum to develop an interoperable solution a solution which is standardized, right? A solution which is secure across all domains or across any of the OEMs which we want to interact with. Saying that, आज भी अगर हम देखें तो कुछ गाड़ी के अंदर अगर ये फीचर्स आता भी है to an extent, उसके अंदर they are not as secure, as standardized as the solution that we are working on, and we'll talk about it in detail कि ऐसा मैं क्यों कह रहा हूँ. ओके, तो जैसे अभी हम बताया, फीचर्स ओवरव्यू, ओनर कैन शेयर द कीज विद हिज फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली मेंबर्स, and of course he can also give specific access permissions to whatever he wants to. Then owner or friend can suspend or keys or resume a key, let's say, and after it is done, he can simply terminate or unpair that digital key anytime they want. Which are use cases? I mean, these are all some things which we have talked about in what do you say, in a passenger car segment, right? That's what, let's say आपके पास में एक गाड़ी है, दो गाड़ी है या तीन गाड़ी है, हम उसकी बात कर रहे हैं. But just look at this functionality from that perspective कि there is a fleet management, right? There is a fleet company like an Uber or an Ola, or there are many not even passenger cars, but let's say commercial vehicles, right? There are companies which are having trucks, loaders. They want to operate this as well, so they can also have these features, I mean these devices in each of their vehicle. And of course there are lot many things which they'll be able to know. They'll be able to better track their vehicles, where they are, and maybe मतलब इतने ग्रैनुलर लेवल पे कि आपके जो गाड़ी है वो कब लॉक हुई है, कब अनलॉक हुई है, कितने किलोमीटर्स बाद let's say उसमें fueling हुआ है, and all those things. I mean the possibilities are endless, right? So these are some of the features that this digital key puts to the table, right? Now, what are the main actors involved? Main actors, जैसे हमने अभी बात की, vehicle with the phone as a key, ECU installed. So this is a typical ECU which provides this capability. That is definitely a must. Then we have a vehicle OEM server, as we call it, right? And Ignite is a solution which is a software delivery platform cloud that Harman has. So we call it as Ignite. So this is our solution, and this actually acts as a vehicle OEM server in this solution, and we'll see the overall architecture, and then I'll show you there. Then we have key tracking server. This is a completely separate entity which is used for tracking the key usage and all. Then of course we have owner device, which is nothing but your smartphone or even your smartwatch or any smart devices which you can think of. It just needs to have that smart and connected feature capability with it, right? So that needs to be there in that solution. And then of course we have owner device OEM server. So just like vehicle has its own vehicle OEM server, that device also needs to have a corresponding device OEM server. So for example, you have Google phone, then of course you will have a Google OEM server, or you have an Apple phone, so you will have an Apple OEM server which would be in place. Similarly, this would be your owner's device and server, and there would also be a friend device, right? And its own friend device OEM server as well, which may be of same company, which may not be of same company, so doesn't matter. And then of course we have mobile apps. Nowadays this is very common. You have the OEM apps. So for example, let's say Audi or any manufacturer, right? It creates its own. Hyundai or Maruti, they have their own mobile apps, which is used by the users. And also the native apps are also there. So what is the difference? I mean, native apps, when we talk about native apps, would be something like you have a Google phone, or Android phone. So there will be an Android app also doing the same thing. Or if you have an Apple app, then of course Apple would have these digital key card feature implemented in their apps also. So now it's totally up to the user and the vehicle OEM, that how they'll be able to convince their users to use either of those, right? So typically vehicle OEM apps provides lot many other functionalities today as well, right? To better track all these vehicle related features, which obviously the Apple or the Google would not be having the mastery in. But हाँ, उनकी अपनी भी apps होती है, which of course play their own part in different features, and of course digital key would also be no different. वहाँ वहाँ पे भी हम ये डिजिटल की सारी ही फीचर्स दोनों ही ऐप से यूज कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो अभी 2 स्लाइड्स पहले मैंने एज कनेक्टेड डिवाइस का एक छोटा सा आर्किटेक्चर दिखाया था, बट दिस इज ऑन द अदर साइड. दिस इज ऑन द क्लाउड आर्किटेक्चर. सो अगेन एट अ वेरी हाई लेवल, but I would like to, this is the in essence the meat of this whole solution, right? So we'll spend some more time on this. तो जैसे आप यहाँ पे देख पाएंगे, this is an IoT enabled solution that we have in place. If you see here, I mean, we start with vehicle, and we start with the owner, and we start with this friend device. So like I was saying, Apple phone, Google phone, Apple OEM server, Google OEM server, right? Those would be having their own proprietary channel, which we are not involved in, but of course they would be interacting with each other, for many other features and including the digital key as well. Similarly, we will be having the vehicle, of course, and vehicle would be having that phone as a key ECU that we talked about. That would be here in vehicle, and this vehicle would also be an NFC and UWB compliant, right? So that they can interact with the owner device today as well. So both of them would be having NFC technologies enabled. Okay, so now this vehicle, right? This vehicle starts. A vehicle would make a connectivity to the vehicle OEM server. So if you see this entire this entire box that we have in dark blue, this is Ignite, right? So this is our component that we create, that we already have working, and these connectivity is already established. This connectivity is established via a mutual TLS, which is a mandatory security requirements. Mutual TLS would just means that you have an SSL enabled, right? So we have this HTTPS. अगर आपने देखा होगा अपने ब्राउजर्स के ऊपर भी, तो obviously ये secure socket layer is there, right? तो even for this connectivity from the vehicle to our cloud to the vehicle OEM server, we have established this mutual TLS, और वो mutual TLS ensures कि there is a authentication at both the sides, even at the vehicle side and also at the cloud side. Both of them trust each other, and there is not a one-way authentication. There is a mutual trust, mutual two-way TLS, which is there. Okay. So once it reaches what is the very first interface or hop, as we call it, that is an Nginx or a load balancer, which can be anything, right? So we know typically, right, load balancers are something which provides the feature of balancing the traffic to different microservices, right, within a cloud platform. Okay, so we support all the load balancers that are probably there, be it F5 or application load balancer from AWS or Google or whatever. And these also work as a reverse proxy. So I would like to be to have this technically understood. So basically, when we say reverse proxy, so just like we have a proxy from client to server, a reverse proxy is just a reverse of it. So basically, that is for the data traveling from server to cloud, server to vehicle, right? तो सबसे पहले ये यहाँ पे F5 अगर भी आप लोड बैलेंसर देखेंगे, ये लोड बैलेंसर क्या करेगा? It would ensure that this trust is there, and it would जो सर्टिफिकेट्स हमारे चाहिए होते हैं फॉर दिस म्यूचुअल TLS टू वर्क ऑन टू फंक्शन, ये सबसे पहले यहाँ पे ऑफलोड हो जाते हैं कि हमें पता चल जाता है कि हमारा जो डेटा है ये ऑथेंटिकेटेड है, और उसके बाद का जितना भी हमारा कम्युनिकेशन अंदर जाता है, दीज आर ऑल HTTP और बेसिकली यू कैन से SSL खत्म हो जाता है यहाँ पे, और इंटरनल जो ट्रैफिक होता है, दीज आर ऑल what do you say, already a trusted traffic which flows in between the different microservices. So इसके बाद में जो हमारा, अगर आप देखेंगे दिस बॉक्स, दिस इज कॉल्ड HiveMQ, और दिस इज कॉल्ड एन MQTT protocol, which is nothing but a lightweight, what do you say, a lightweight MQ mechanism. Lightweight क्यों है? Because of because it needs to support the client, right? तो जैसे मैंने कहा, क्लाउड के साइड पे तो we have, let's say, gigabytes of RAMs and all those things, big machines which are available. But about these sensors, right, जैसे हम अभी बात कर रहे हैं, वो sensors जो होते हैं, these are always very small, what do you say, devices which have very limited functionality and very limited bandwidth that they can work with. तो इसीलिए HiveMQ या MQTT जो होता है, वो एक ट्रस्टेड एक चैनल होता है जो बनाया जाता है, जिससे कि बहुत ही कम बैंडविड्थ के अंदर ये क्लाइंट डिवाइसेस जो होती हैं क्लाउड के साथ में इंटरेक्ट कर सकती हैं। तो जैसे ही यहाँ पे ये डेटा MQTT के थ्रू व्हीकल से फ्लो करता है और एक बार वो क्लाउड में आ जाता है, उसके बाद में वी हैव समथिंग कॉल्ड Kafka. You all probably would have heard of, and this is basically a backbone of our MQ system, which provides lot of similar functionalities as we say with MQTT, but then अलग से रखने का क्यों फायदा होता है काफका को? बिकॉज वी हैव मैसेज परसिस्टेंस which can be inbuilt, and it can typically provide the asynchronous communication and processing with all the microservices. तो MQTT और Kafka के अंदर बेसिकली डिफरेंस यहाँ पे यही होता है मेनली, कि आपका MQTT इज मोस्ट ऑफ अ पब सब पैटर्न, जिसे हम कहते हैं पब्लिश सब्सक्राइब पैटर्न, कि आपने यू जस्ट फायर एंड फॉरगेट, राइट? सो जो हमारा क्लाइंट है वो जस्ट डेटा भेजता है एंड देन इट जस्ट फॉरगेट्स कि मैंने क्या भेजा, कहाँ भेजा और वो सब. And then once we get it into the cloud system, then of course we need to interact with lot many of these microservices that I have tried to shown over here. तो इसलिए उसका बैकबोन कौन प्रोवाइड करता है हमें? वो हमें प्रोवाइड करता है Kafka. तो इसके अंदर अगर आप लाइट वेट अगर आप लाइट ब्लू में देखेंगे, इसके अंदर एक और इग्नाइट, तो हमारा पूरा सोल्यूशन हो गया क्लाउड SGP, राइट? बट इसके अंदर हमारा कुछ और माइक्रो सर्विसेज डिप्लॉय होती हैं, और ये माइक्रो सर्विसेज कैसे डिप्लॉय होती हैं? दीज आर कॉल्ड K8s, दैट इज Kubernetes nodes, राइट? तो मे बी मैं जस्ट एक ब्रीफ बता दूं, मे बी सम ऑफ यू वुड बी ऑलरेडी नोइंग अबाउट इट, बट यहाँ पे मैंने दो चीज़ों का जिक्र किया. एक मैंने बोला माइक्रो सर्विसेज, और एक मैंने बात की क्यूबरनेटिस की. ओके, तो अच्छा आयुषी जी, जस्ट एक क्विक चेक, आई एम ऑडिबल राइट? एंड
Yes, you are, sir.
तो मे बी नॉट श्योर इफ आई हैव नीड टू टेक अ पॉज ओवर हेयर, या कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं, या फिर मैं एक बार इसके अंदर डिटेल में जाता हूँ और फिर हम बात कर सकते हैं. ईदर वेज,
जी सर, लास्ट में we'll take the questions.
श्योर, ओके. तो यहाँ पे मैंने दो चीज़ों की बात की, एक माइक्रो सर्विसेज और एक क्यूबरनेटिस, राइट? तो माइक्रो सर्विसेज, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट, एज द नेम सजेस्ट, माइक्रो एंड सर्विसेज, राइट? माइक्रो मतलब स्मॉल, वेरी स्मॉल. तो अगर आप लोगों ने वेब सर्विसेज के ऊपर मेनली काम किया होगा पहले, जो कि काफ़ी एस्टेब्लिश पैटर्न है, अब तो खैर माइक्रो सर्विसेज भी एस्टेब्लिश पैटर्न है, आर्किटेक्चरल पैटर्न जिसे हम कहते हैं. बट उनका सिर्फ फ़र्क ये होता है कि माइक्रो सर्विसेज जो होती हैं, नॉर्मली ये कहा जाता है कि दिस कैन बी टेकन केयर बाय वन पिज्ज़ा टीम, राइट? तो वन पिज्ज़ा टीम का मतलब कि आपकी छोटी सी टीम है जो 2 या 3 बंदों की नॉर्मली होती है, और वो एक सर्विस को पूरी तरीके से एंड टू एंड समझती है और सपोर्ट करती है, डेवलप भी करती है, सपोर्ट भी करती है. अगेन दीज आर क्यों ज़रूरी होता है? वरना आपके पास में मोनोलिथ बन जाएगा एक बहुत बड़ा, जो कि हमारे लेगेसी सिस्टम्स हैं भी आज की डेट में. और ऐसा नहीं है कि लेगेसी सिस्टम काम नहीं किया करते थे, ऑब्वियसली आज की डेट में भी हम अगर मैक्सिमम चीज़ें देख रहे होंगे IT वर्ल्ड के अंदर, तो वी ऑल वुड अग्री कि वो ज़्यादातर जो है अभी भी मोनोलिथिक पे चल रहे हैं. बट हाँ, जैसे जैसे हम आगे क्लाउड नेटिव बन रहे हैं, तो वैसे हमें ये माइक्रो सर्विसेज जो है these provide lot many advantages which termed from मतलब which varies from अच्छा सपोर्ट या फिर गुड डोमेन अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड क्रॉस प्लेटफॉर्म या लैंग्वेज agnostic development. All these are features which the microservices provides. तो अगर आप यहाँ पे देखेंगे हमने यहाँ पे ये जो सर्विसेज लिखी हुई हैं यहाँ पे और यहाँ पे दोज आर क्वाइट सिमिलर टू ईच अदर, बट इनका अलग फ़र्क क्या है कि कुछ सर्विसेज जो है वो API बेस्ड है और कुछ सर्विसेज जो है वो हमारी व्हाट यू से काफका स्ट्रीम्स बेस्ड है, जिसे हम स्ट्रीम प्रोसेसर्स कहते हैं, राइट? तो ये अगर आप देखेंगे तो दिस इज एज आई मेंशन काफका स्ट्रीम क्लस्टर। तो इनके अंदर ये जो सब सर्विसेज हैं दीज आर ऑल स्ट्रीम प्रोसेसर्स। जो स्ट्रीम प्रोसेसर्स का मतलब क्या हुआ, काफका के साथ में आपके पास में डेटा आ रहा है जस्ट लाइक अ स्ट्रीम ऑफ रिवर विच इज फ्लोइंग इन, एंड ये इन सर्विसेज का काम जो होता है सिंपली उन मैसेजेस को प्रोक्योर करना, प्रोसेस करना और फिर अपने अपना बिजनेस लॉजिक इंप्लीमेंट करना है यहाँ पे। ऑन द अदर साइड नीचे अगर आप देखेंगे दिस इज बेसिकली एन API क्लस्टर। तो again APIs are REST based APIs, right, that we normally have, which is this communication is mainly over TCP protocol, and this communication which has shown here is basically to via the HTTP or HTTPS based protocol. Again यहाँ पे भी API gateway अगर आप देखेंगे तो एक सिस्टम है जस्ट लाइक वी हैव F5 ओवर हेयर, वी हैव F5 हेयर एज वेल, एंड देन आफ्टर दैट जो यहाँ पे काफका काम करता है प्रोसेसिंग में, यहाँ पे एक काम API गेटवे को दिया गया है विच इज काइंड ऑफ एन गेटवे विच गेट्स दिस ट्रैफिक फ्रॉम whom। ये ट्रैफिक हमने देखा व्हीकल के ऊपर था पूरा का पूरा, व्हीकल से जो डेटा आ रहा है हमारे पास, और जो ये दूसरा ट्रैफिक है ये आपका ओनर की डिवाइस से डेटा आ रहा है, जो जैसे मैंने अभी बताया था कि व्हीकल OEM की एप्स हैं या फिर नेटिव ऐप्स हैं जो आपके एप्पल फ़ोन स्मार्टफोन से आ रही हैं, कि आपको देखना है अपने आप मोबाइल ऐप अब यूज़र ने खोला और उसके बाद उससे देखना है कि लेट्स से मेरी कौन कौन सी कीज़ हैं जो अभी बनी हुई हैं, या फिर जो मैंने फ्रेंड की बनाई थी उसका क्या हुआ, वो सब इंफॉर्मेशन एंड लॉट ऑफ अदर कनेक्टिविटी कनेक्टेड कार फीचर्स कैन बी एक्सेस्ड वाया दीज एप्स एंड पोर्टल्स। और वो सब HTTP ट्रैफिक होता है, तो वो सब API क्लस्टर के थ्रू आता है। और यहाँ पे अगर आप देखेंगे तो अगेन दीज आर सेपरेट माइक्रो सर्विसेज दैट वी हैव क्रिएटेड। सम ऑफ देम आर स्पेसिफिकली फॉर इम्प्लीमेंटिंग डिजिटल की सॉल्यूशन इटसेल्फ। जैसे अगर आप ये देखें डिजिटल की माइक्रो सर्विस है, और यहाँ पे भी डिजिटल की माइक्रो सर्विस है, दैट मीन्स दिस इज द डिजिटल की माइक्रो सर्विस एज अ स्ट्रीम प्रोसेसर। और ये डिजिटल की माइक्रो सर्विस का जो फ्लेवर है दिस इज फॉर APIs बेसिकली। सिमिलरली डिजिटल की ट्रैकिंग, और यहाँ पे भी डिजिटल की ट्रैकिंग है, और इसके अलावा काफ़ी सारी व्हीकल लाइफ साइकिल, सर्टिफिकेट मैनेजर, सर्विस प्रोविजनिंग, DFF। आई मीन विल नॉट गो इनटू डिटेल ऑफ दीज, बट आप ये इसको ऐसा समझ सकते हैं कि ये सब हमारी यूटिलिटी माइक्रो सर्विसेज ही हैं जो कि एग्जिस्टिंग SDP सॉल्यूशन के अंदर काम करती हैं। जो सर्विस डिलीवरी प्लेटफॉर्म हमारा होता है उसके लिए सबके अपनी अलग अलग डोमेन इंफॉर्मेशन है या डोमेन बिजनेस डोमेन है जिस पे ये काम करती हैं। तो व्हीकल प्रोफाइल जैसे एज अ नेम सजेस्ट इट कंटेन्स ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन फॉर ऑल द व्हीकल्स दैट वी हैव। तो उस व्हीकल के अंदर लेट्स से अगर 100 ECUs हैं तो वो सब 100 ECUs की इंफॉर्मेशन यहाँ व्हीकल प्रोफाइल में होगी, और उनके करस्पॉन्डिंग यूजर्स की इंफॉर्मेशन भी सब यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी पड़ी हुई होगी। एंड सिमिलरली फॉर अदर वी हैव नोटिफिकेशन सेंटर्स एंड एवरीथिंग विच इज देयर। ओके, तो कुछ और चीज़ें जैसे यहाँ पे मैं दिखाना चाह रहा था कंपोनेंट्स, जो अगर आप देखें PKI, राइट। सो व्हाट इज PKI? तो PKI इज बेसिकली कॉल्ड एज अ पब्लिक की इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। तो जैसे अभी हमने बात की म्यूचुअल TLS, राइट। तो म्यूचुअल TLS जैसे मैंने बताया ऑथेंटिकेशन एस्टेब्लिश करने के लिए होता है, करेक्ट। अब ये ऑथेंटिकेशन कैसे ट्रस्ट होता है कि भाई मतलब मैं हूँ और लेट्स से दूसरी पार्टी है, राइट। हम कैसे एस्टेब्लिश करते हैं कि हम एक दूसरे को ट्रस्ट कर रहे हैं? वो ट्रस्ट का जो बेसिस होता है दोज आर डिजिटल सर्टिफिकेट्स दैट आर देयर, राइट। तो देर आर लॉट मैनी सर्टिफिकेट्स विच आर इन यूज विच आर डिजिटली साइंड बाय अ सर्टिफिकेट अथॉरिटी, और उसके कुछ टाइप्स होते हैं, पब्लिक की, प्राइवेट की, पब्लिक सर्टिफिकेट, प्राइवेट सर्टिफिकेट्स, दोज आर देयर। प्राइवेट सर्टिफिकेट या प्राइवेट की जिसे हम कहते हैं, एज द नेम सजेस्ट, these are private and these remain at a particular location and is not shared with anyone, right? Because obviously these are private. But on the other side, public certificate or public keys are for public usage, and whoever wants to establish the trust, those certificates can be provided to those parties as a certificate which they can keep with themselves, and for every interaction they would be able to do a handshake, so that their public certificate would exactly be knowing कि ये जो data आया है या ये जो कम्युनिकेशन एस्टेब्लिश हो रहा है वो उसी प्राइवेट की से है जिसको मैं ट्रस्ट करता हूँ, राइट? तो अगर आप देखेंगे तो ये PKI जो है, दिस इज दैट कंपोनेंट विच इंश्योर्स कि ये सब सर्टिफिकेट्स जो हैं वो हमारी माइक्रो सर्विसेज को मिलते रहे, राइट? तो जैसे ये हमें मिलेंगे तो ये पब्लिक सर्टिफिकेट जो है, ये हम पब्लिक सर्टिफिकेट जो है वो किसको दे देंगे? व्हीकल को भी दे देंगे और ओनर्स को भी दे देंगे या डिवाइसेस को भी दे देंगे। तो आपके यहाँ पे वो जो डिवाइस है उसके अंदर भी एक सर्टिफिकेट ऑलरेडी आ जाएगा। और इवन जो ये आपके डिजिटल की हम बात कर रहे हैं कि वो डिजिटल की क्या है, डिजिटल की क्योंकि फिजिकल तो है नहीं जैसे हमने कहा, तो दिस डिजिटल की इज ऑल्सो अ वर्चुअल की, राइट? एंड विच इज ऑल्सो नथिंग बट अ सर्टिफिकेट इटसेल्फ, विच इज अ प्राइवेट सर्टिफिकेट, जो कि सिर्फ कहाँ रहता है? वो रहता है आपकी डिवाइस के ऊपर। तो जो ओनर होता है वो ओनर अपने जैसे अभी एप्पल का जो लेटेस्ट फोन लेट्स से 14 या 13 में भी था, उसके अंदर ये फीचर्स हैं जो कि हम जो कि ये सर्टिफिकेट बना सकते हैं, और ये उनके डिजिटल की फ्रेमवर्क कंपोनेंट के अंदर ही रहता है, उसके बाहर कभी नहीं निकलता है, ऑफ कोर्स फॉर सिक्योरिटी पर्सपेक्टिव। बट हाँ, इसका जो करस्पॉन्डिंग पब्लिक सर्टिफिकेट होता है, वो पब्लिक सर्टिफिकेट जो है अगेन व्हीकल को भी दे दिया जाता है, अगेन फॉर द सेम प्रिंसिपल कि इस पब्लिक और प्राइवेट के सर्टिफिकेट के इंटरेक्शन से ही ये व्हीकल और डिवाइस आपस में इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हैं, और एक बार डिजिटल की बन जाती है उसके बाद में ये आपस में कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं, और जब इस कम्युनिकेशन के अंदर इस व्हीकल ओईएम सर्वर का कोई लेना देना नहीं होगा, जो मैं आपको बता रहा था कि ऑफलाइन, कंप्लीटली ऑफलाइन इंटरेक्शन बिटवीन द डिवाइस एंड द व्हीकल। ओके, तो on a very high level, this is the architecture that we have built. Or of course, for a persistent storage, we have this NoSQL database that we have established, that we have put in place. Again, we are using MongoDB, but there are many other options which are available like Cassandra, or there are other provided by the AWS and other clouds also. Any of that can be used. We have this capability of customizing these solutions, right? So not sure if I'll just take a minute again. NoSQL database के बारे में अगर मैं बताऊं तो NoSQL जैसे as a name suggest, there is a SQL database जैसे हम बात करते ही हैं, जो कि structured query languages RDBMS होता है mainly, और NoSQL का मतलब क्या हुआ? Which is not a SQL, right? तो that means it does not have any schema. तो ऑफ कोर्स वो NoSQL डेटाबेसेस जो है हमारे और बड़े सारे यूज केसेस में काम आते हैं, जहाँ पे हमारा जो स्कीमा होता है दैट इज नॉट फिक्स्ड एंड दैट कैन वेरी विद different type of data that can be processed in them. Okay, so this in a nutshell is the cloud architecture, as I said. Of course, we can go in with any of these questions which can be there, but I'll just move on further. So we have looked at the cloud architecture now. कुछ और चीज़ें जैसे हमने बताया था डिवाइस फंक्शनल एलिमेंट्स, राइट? कि डिवाइसेस के अंदर क्या कैपेबिलिटीज़ हैं, जैसे हमने बात की थी, ये जो पर्टिकुलर हमने डिवाइस की बात की। तो अगर आप ये देखें, ये एक और आर्किटेक्चर मैंने यहाँ पे डिस्प्ले किया है। अगेन दिस इज एट अ वेरी हाई लेवल, बट इसके अंदर भी कुछ एक इंटरेक्शंस दिखाई गई हैं। जैसे ये आप देख रहे हैं, ये तो एक व्हीकल है, जिस व्हीकल के अंदर एक ECU लगता है, और ये हमारा अगर आप देखें तो दिस इज कॉल्ड डिवाइस का हमारा एक डायग्राम, राइट? तो इसके अंदर आप देखें तो ये डिजिटल की फ्रेमवर्क जैसे मैंने अभी बताया था, और डिजिटल की एप्लेट, these are some things which is there inside a smartphone. तो आपका चाहे वो एप्पल का हो चाहे वो गूगल का हो, इसके अंदर ये कैपेबिलिटी होती है। और इनफैक्ट अगर आप ध्यान करेंगे तो एक और यूज केस है इसका, जैसे जो कि डिजिटल पेमेंट्स के लिए होता है। तो अगर आप एप्पल पे या सैमसंग पे इन सब में यूज करते हैं, तो आप अपना क्रेडिट कार्ड की इंफॉर्मेशन अपने स्मार्टफोन के अंदर भी डाल सकते हैं, जिससे कि आप कई सारी जस्ट सिमिलर टू आप टैप करते हैं आप अपने क्रेडिट कार्ड को एक मशीन के ऊपर, वैसे ही सिमिलरली यू कैन टैप योर स्मार्टफोन एज वेल, एंड अगेन the processing would be much similar to this digital key certificate only, as we just like we discussed about. So again, there would be a certificate exchange happening between those devices, and as I said, that secure element would ensure that my digital key or my certificate, my private certificate, absolutely remains inside it and is not shared with any of the other person, right? इसके अलावा अगर आप यहाँ पे इंटरेक्शन देखें, तो जैसे मैंने कहा व्हीकल OEM ऐप्स या फिर नेटिव ऐप्स की अगर बात करें, तो इनके साथ में ये ऑब्वियसली ये इंटरेक्ट करते रहते हैं। और फाइनली ये ऐप्स और ये नेटिव ऐप्स जो हैं, ये हमारे व्हीकल OEM सर्वर के साथ में भी इंटरेक्ट करती हैं, और डिवाइस OEM सर्वर के साथ में, जैसे कि एप्पल का सर्वर हो गया या गूगल का सर्वर हो गया, इनके साथ भी इंटरेक्शन करती हैं। और इनफैक्ट हमारे आपस में व्हीकल OEM सर्वर और डिवाइस OEM सर्वर के बीच में भी कनेक्टिविटी एस्टेब्लिश होती है और कम्युनिकेशन एक्सचेंज होता रहता है फ्रीक्वेंटली। ओके, राइट, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट यूज केसेस एंड फ्लोज की एक्चुअली में एस्टेब्लिश होता कैसा है, ये चलता कैसे है, राइट? तो टू जस्ट टू गिव यू अ ब्रीफ अबाउट इट, तो कैसा होता है कि आज की डेट में भी देयर इज अ सबसे पहला फंक्शन जो होता है वो होता है रूट प्रोविजनिंग। वो कहाँ होता है? वो होता है व्हीकल जहाँ पे मैन्युफैक्चर हो रहा होता है, उस प्लांट के ऊपर एक ECU आइडेंटिटी सर्टिफिकेट जो बनाया जाता है, और ये कंपनी ही बनाती है, जो कि OEM कंपनी है, लेट्स से मारुति है या hyundai है, वो एक सर्टिफिकेट बनाती है, और वो सर्टिफिकेट व्हीकल के अंदर डाल दिया जाता है एट द प्लांट इटसेल्फ, राइट? एंड ऑब्वियसली यूजर वोंट बी नोइंग अबाउट इट, वो अंदर पड़ा होता है ऑलरेडी। इसके बाद में वो गाड़ी मैन्युफैक्चर हो गई ऑब्वियसली, बट उसके बाद में वो गाड़ी पहुंची आपका डीलरशिप के ऊपर, राइट? तो वो डीलरशिप के ऊपर गाड़ी पहुंची, लेट से 2 महीने बाद, 3 महीने बाद, 4 महीने बाद वो गाड़ी बिकी, जैसा भी हुआ। उस टाइम पे क्या होता है, एक और प्री प्रोविजनिंग स्टेप्स जिसे हम कहते हैं, वो करा जाता है, विच इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड अ पेयरिंग प्रिपरेशन, डिजिटल की पेयरिंग प्रिपरेशन फेज। वहां पे क्या होता है, वहां पे एक व्हीकल आइडेंटिटी सर्टिफिकेट, एक सर्टिफिकेट की हमने बात की ECU आइडेंटिटी सर्टिफिकेट, बट ये ECU आइडेंटिटी सर्टिफिकेट जो है, ये तो गाड़ी की मतलब जो व्हीकल की आइडेंटिटी देता है, राइट? बट देन देर इज अनदर सर्टिफिकेट विच इज प्रोक्योर्ड एंड विच इज स्पेसिफिकली फॉर द डिजिटल की feature only, which is called the vehicle identity certificate. Now this vehicle identity certificate gets provisioned again, and at this time, because that vehicle has that connectivity now with that ECU, and then this ECU starts to send that data to cloud, and इस टाइम पे हमारा ये जो व्हीकल OEM सर्वर के पास में डेटा जाता है, और व्हीकल OEM सर्वर जो है वो again there are some credentials which gets created at the vehicle OEM server side, which are called SPAEC2 salt and verifier. Again, these are very typical security protocols which are used. These gets created at the vehicle OEM server side, and those certificate is procured and provided back to the vehicle, and that vehicle saves this vehicle identity certificate as well. Then this is all a preparation phase, right? And then when basically the car gets sold, right? उसके बाद में क्या होता है, that car has its own owner pairing phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. All these are different phases which are actually abstracted from the user. All the user would need to know is that I get into the car, I put that as a user, right? I put that smartphone which I would like to pair with my vehicle. I put that onto the smart charging pad, and it would start recognizing on the head unit, जो head unit हमारी गाड़ी में होता है, यहाँ पे हमारा म्यूजिक सिस्टम्स और वो सब होता है, देन यू विल गेट अ पेयरिंग इंफॉर्मेशन विच यू सिंपली हैव टू फॉलो. और उस प्रोसेस को फॉलो करने से क्या होता है, अंडर द हुड क्या हो रहा होता है, अंडर द हुड देयर इज अ डिजिटल की दैट इज गेटिंग क्रिएटेड, और ये सब इंटरेक्शन हो रही होती है विद द व्हीकल डिवाइस एंड द व्हीकल OEM server. And to that extent, in this phase 2, this phone as a key ECU provides the key creation data to and other required details, of course, to whom? To the device. And then the device creates this digital key and it shares with the vehicle, जैसे मैंने अभी बताया आपको. And then finally, once this digital key gets created, this device via the device OEM server sends that tracking information or key information to whom? To vehicle OEM server, that is to our cloud, saying that, okay, boss, this key has been created now, and this key is being trusted by the vehicle and trusted by me, that is, let's say, Apple device. And you can also have this digital key certificate, of course, public certificate. You can also keep it with you for the further interaction. और अब हमारी जो भी ट्रैकिंग होगी इसके अंदर, वो ट्रैकिंग जो है वो इस डिजिटल की आईडी के थ्रू हुआ करेगी, सो दैट वी ऑल नो दैट आपके यहाँ पे जो भी इंटरेक्शन हो रही है इस डिजिटल की के अंदर, वो किस व्हीकल के लिए हो रही है, किस ओनर डिवाइस के लिए हो रही है, और उस ओनर डिवाइस ने लेट्स से 5 फ्रेंड्स को अपनी की फर्दर दे रखी है, तो वो किस फ्रेंड के लिए हो रही है. तो all of them, once this owner pairing is completed, then of course we have all these key sharing, termination, suspend, resume features inbuilt, जो कि किए जा सकते हैं और फ्रेंड को ये इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड की जा सकती है. फ्रेंड को भी पर्टिकुलर एक की बनाई जाती है. ये तो हमने अभी ओनर पेयरिंग की बात की. सिमिलरली जो ओनर है वो क्या करता है, वो अपने यहाँ पे ही अगेन अपने स्मार्टफोन के अंदर ही एक फ्रेंड की बना सकता है, और वो फ्रेंड की बना के एक URL के थ्रू, वो URL चाहे हम ईमेल भेजें, हम मतलब यूज़र ओनर ही, चाहे वो इवन व्हाट्सएप पे भेजे, चाहे वो SMS पे भेजे, किसी के भी थ्रू वो एक URL भेज देगा अपने फ्रेंड को. और जैसे ही फ्रेंड उसको वो URL मिलेगा, वंस इट clicks on that URL and he has to be in that, again, in that close vicinity of that car, almost the same process that the owner has done would be done by that friend for the very first time. And similarly, that friend key would be created at that friend's device and inside that digital key applet itself, और वहां पे वो सेव हो जाएगी उस फ्रेंड के लिए. Okay, so these are some of the features that we spoke about. Again, these are some cloud components that we have interacted with. I'll probably talk about a few of them, just like HSM, Vault, if you would have seen, तो ये क्या होते हैं, HSM क्या होता है, Vault क्या होता है. Again, जैसे मैंने कहा, इस solution के अंदर one of the main cheese, main things are security, right? So I'll use both these slides together to explain that these are the amount of certificates and OEM keys, right? Key pairs which are used in this solution, because like I said, security is paramount, right? Because we are talking about keys, right? We are talking about accesses to be given. So, and that's where this CCC consortium, like I was talking about, that comes into picture, right? That's how this solution has been made as a standard solution, because there is a governing body, CCC, which is there, which ensures that all the device OEMs, Apple, Google, Samsung, I mean, whoever, right? All of them, and also the vehicle OEMs like Audi, BMW, Volkswagen, PSA, FCA, Fiat Chrysler, I mean, you name them, and all of them are there. Harman is also part of that connected car consortium. They ensure that all these security mechanisms are in place so that the solution that we are developing is absolutely safe, and it also goes through all the security requirements that are put in place, and even there is some certification needs to be done by both the vehicle OEMs and also by the device OEMs to ensure that this is a checklist which they need to ensure they are ticking all these boxes, and ensuring that this solution works end to end in a most secure manner, as secure manner as possible. Okay. तो अगेन ये सब सर्टिफिकेट्स है, बट इन सर्टिफिकेट्स को बनाना ऑब्वियसली इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट इनकी अपकीप भी ज़रूरी है, राइट? वहाँ पे हमारे ये सब फीचर्स लाइक वॉल्ट, HSM, ऑल दीज आर द क्लाउड सर्विसेज which provides this level of security both at the software side and at the hardware side. So HSM is what? HSM is called hardware security module. तो ये सब कंपोनेंट सॉफ्टवेयर कंपोनेंट्स इंश्योर करते हैं कि ये सर्टिफिकेट्स जो बने हैं वो रखे भी जाएं, इनका प्रॉपर अपग्रेड होता रहे, इनका प्रॉपर रोटेशन होता रहे आफ्टर सम टाइम, सो दैट एक नॉर्मल हमारा OTP भी हम जो हम पासवर्ड भी जनरेट करते हैं, उस पासवर्ड को भी बोला जाता है कि दैट वी continue to change it after 2 months or 3 months, right? So similarly, not that frequently, 2 months or 3 months, but of course it has its own life cycle, and that life cycle is also being managed by the PKI that we saw in in one of our cloud architecture slide. Okay, so these are some of the cloud components, and there are lot many which we interact with, but I just wanted to show minimal and the most important ones that we have in place. Okay, I would not go into detail of all these, considering the time as well. So now, just to let you know with whom we are working with. So like I said, of course, Apple, Google, HPAC. This HPAC, of course, you all know, right? Apple and Google. So iOS device OEM server that we talked about, and similarly, Google also is an Android device OEM server. But apart from that, we are also making our own Harman phone as a key hardware ECU, right? Which is also created by another business unit that we have in Harman. We in the sense, we, as I talk about, we are more at the cloud side of things, but yeah, we have a different business unit which also takes care of this hardware module, which is called phone as a key HPAC. That is an ECU, as we talked about. And of course, there are all this is fine. All these are device OEM servers and the vehicle OEM server, so to say. But of course, we also need to have original equipment manufacturer. That is what OEM is called. OEM means. And of course, we are working with different clients from the actual vehicle OEMs, which I would not probably name, but yeah, that is what we are working with. And we are working both as a product and as a services, or as a what you say, as a solution for the client as well, directly the client. Okay, so yeah, I think that's about it from my side, which I wanted to go through it. I think I was given time till 7:20, and I think we are on top of the hour. So I'll probably pause now. Ayushi, back to you.
Thank you so much, sir. I am sure that this insightful session would have enlightened the participants about the real life applications. I would like to take the questions with your permission, sir, now. May I?
Sure, please go ahead.
So, The first question I got is, what are the challenges in implementing digital transformation in your business?
Okay. Challenges for the digital transformation. So I'll put that into the context of this whole solution itself, right? So one of the major challenge, like I spoke about, right, for this feature, and as a general feature also, right, whenever we talk about digital age, one of the basic question, one of the basic challenge that is being talked about is the security, right? Like we said, क्योंकि आप जितना भी कर लें, जो एक चाबी और ताले की डेफिनेशन होती है, राइट, कि आप एक ताला डालते हैं, उसकी चाबी सिर्फ आपके पास होती है, यू आर 100% श्योर कि हाँ, ये चाबी किसी और के पास में नहीं है, करेक्ट? तो अगेन डिजिटल में ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, वो चाबी बन भी सकती है किसी और के थ्रू, बट हाँ, द मेजर चैलेंज इज टू एंश्योर कि वो चाबी आप ही के पास रहे, और चाबी भी रहे आपके पास में, और आपके पास में ऐसा फंक्शनैलिटी भी हो कि अगर वो चाबी खराब हो जाती है या आपको एक और चाबी बनानी भी पड़ती है, तो वो भी एंश्योर की जाए कि वो सिर्फ आप ही के लिए बने, ओनर के लिए एक ही चाबी रहे, फ्रेंड के लिए दूसरी चाबी बन सकती है, बट ऑब्वियसली उस फ्रेंड की चाबी के जो काम होंगे वो काफ़ी कम होंगे एज कम्पेयर टू ओनर। जैसे कि वो फ्रेंड किसी और फ्रेंड को चाबी बना के नहीं दे सकता, वो सिर्फ खुद ही अपनी चाबी का यूज़ कर सकता है। So yeah, to answer your question, I would say security is definitely one of the biggest challenges that we have there.
Okay, thank you, sir. One more question that I have received is, are the initiatives for digital transformation bringing together cross-functional learner or dividing them apart?
Probably I would like to understand a bit more about this question, Ayushi. थोड़ा और एक बार दोबारा repeat करेंगे please?
Sir, are the initiatives for digital transformation bringing together cross-functional learner or dividing them apart? I think they mean to say the cross-functional team, are they dividing or making them together?
Okay, so if I understood that correctly, cross-functional teams definitely are working. I would say not, they are definitely not dividing, but they are definitely need to come together, right, to form a solution. तो जैसे मैंने अभी PPT में दिखाया था, I mean there are cross-functional teams like device OEM servers, right? Apple का एक unit है which has nothing to do with the vehicle, right? I mean, they are developing their own car, but that is a separate story altogether, right? But Apple is mainly into what? They are into devices, right? We, being an OEM server, vehicle OEM server, we are into cloud solutioning. And then there is another hardware module, which is nothing but an edge solution, a normal sensor or a ECU, which does not know anything about cloud, which doesn't know anything about Kafka, about API gateway, or not, nothing. He just knows that, okay, I'm sitting in a car and that's it, right? But all these cross-functional components are working together to make this possible. And perhaps that's what the answer would be, if that answers that question.
Absolutely justified, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to request Professor M.N. Huda, sir, to please present a certificate to Mr. Sandeep Khanna, sir, as a token of remembrance. Please, sir.
Am I audible, Ayushi?
Yes, sir, you are.
Oh, so thank you so much, Mr. Sandeep. The topic is so evolving that it needs a huge deliberation. And I'm sure the input which you have given and the use cases which you have shared will be of immense value addition to everyone for updating what is happening and what is prospective. And at this moment, I would also like to see that in coming days, not only our car, rather everything which we need to operate should primarily be using the digital key, maybe in form of a smartphone. Yes. And this certificate is not for the purpose of certification, rather for the purpose of remembrance that you have been part of this wonderful webinar. Thank you so much. In next few minutes, maybe around 7-8 minutes, I will be reaching to my campus. So thank you so much. All across, I was attending it while traveling.
Oh.
And this memento is also as part of the same remembrance. Thank you so much. We'll have another session.
Thank you, Professor Huda. Thanks for having me here. And yeah, absolutely, like you said, I mean, that's what I touched upon earlier. You are absolutely right. I mean, this is just something which we are working on as a smart key for vehicle. But yeah, use cases are immense. The same, like I said, for digital payments, right? The same technology is being used. For smart homes, the same technology will be used. So yeah, this is in essence the IoT solution that we have talked about. So thanks a lot, Professor Hoda, for having me.
Thank you, sir, for giving us time. I also thank all our distinguished panelists and participants who have continuously supported us all through our webinar. A big thank you for joining us. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Dear participants, a feedback form link has already been shared on the chat window.